Back on the Columbia College Coaches Show, MediaCom Channel 22, talking soccer with a couple of Johns. John Klein, the head coach of the Columbia College Cougars, and John Deshay, his assistant coach in his third season assisting with the Cougars. Coach Klein, talk a little bit about what Coach Deshay has brought to your sideline and to your team.
You know, Coach Deshay was a blessing a couple years ago. He worked camp for me and worked with him a little bit in club soccer, and he expressed some interest in joining our program, and I was excited to bring John Deshay on board. He's professional, he's very detailed, he's very knowledgeable, studies the game, and he's brought a lot to the field and to the recruiting aspect as a liaison between the players and myself, and he serves so many roles, but he's extremely valuable to the Columbia College soccer program. And
I talked to Coach Deshay about it as well, but I ask you the same question. You guys get on that sideline together and you have different little meetings, and from my vantage point, I see a couple times here and there you're getting together and you're discussing strategies and figuring out at what point moves are made, and talk a little bit about that discussion on the sideline sometimes as far as are you ever adamant, no way, we're not doing that, Deshay, or is it reverse? Who wins most of those battles, I guess?
I win, but I can just recently specifically remember that exact scenario, and then I feel, did I give him, did I listen to him enough in certain circumstances? But often I have it fixed in my head what direction I want to go, but but I'll call on him and ask for an opinion. The game. Everybody has a different viewpoint, and I'm so fixed on our players and our personnel, that I'll often go to him and Jack Rubenstein and ask, what's going on the other side of the ball? What's the opponent doing? Where might we get behind their defense, or what are their weaknesses? So those guys have a lot of valuable input, and I would say more times than not, when Coach Deshay or Coach Rubenstein make a suggestion, I just go with it. But every so often, I'll veto the thought.
Well, I'm glad you didn't veto the Tevlin substitution against McKendry, because apparently it worked out pretty well, and get that put in. And again, I think that's a lot of that you don't see. I know Coach Washington has it, Coach Burchard has it, Coach Davis, with all the assistant coaches. Your name is head coach, and sometimes you're the unsung hero a little bit, but so much is brought into the overall program from having that soundboard with assistant coaches on the sideline. If you were to talk to somebody else that's an assistant coach out there, what advice would you give them to somebody maybe that's thinking about getting into coaching?
Don't step on anybody's toes. The head coach has that title for a reason, and I really think my role as an assistant is to make him look good. Because if he looks good, the program looks good, and I look good. Right. So, let him do his job and work. Work for the head coach.
And now the postseason begins. Practice different? Is it? Obviously it's a one-game kind of a deal now with Park. You don't really know for sure. Obviously, if you get the win, then things change a little bit about strategy-wise. But how do you practice now? Any different than you did 2 days ago or the week before?
Well, like I say, I go back to our last 4 matches that I've been extremely pleased with the style of soccer, the level of soccer. Everybody's pretty much healthy. We've been focusing on our pressure in the ball in their defensive third from a very organized, compact standpoint. We've been focused on when we win the ball, look to see if there's a numbers advantage. So we just spend moments going over everything that we've spent time on all year. It's kind of like a final exam. We've gone through it. We've gone through every chapter, and now it's just refreshing their memory and their minds into what it is we want to accomplish and how we want to go about the task.
And again, leadership has been something that very vocal this team has been. It seemed more vocal than previous teams that I remember, and same thing on the volleyball team. It seems like that's been a kind of a combined topic that we've had on the Coaches Show with the two fall sports, that there's been a lot of on-court and on-field leadership, and to be able to pull from the experience of last year's tournament run and bring that to this final game and hopefully into another tournament run this year. How do you focus those guys?
Some of them are easy to focus.
Yeah.
Some of them do it on their own, and they're just competitive nature, and
Right.
they're going to win regardless of the cost. There's others that you really hope that you get them in the game early enough, or you get them in the game at the right time, that they're going to raise their level and stay focused. So, and we just try to put them in situation. Coach, we put them in situations in training that they're going to see in a game, and try to prepare them as best we can.
Well, they've got a recent loss to Park in their memory. To hopefully they can avenge that like they did against the McKendree Bearcats at their place, like you said, and send them to D2 with the loss. Their last AMC was a loss to the Columbia College Cougars, and it's always good to beat McKendree. So again, congratulations on that one, and hopefully we can get the Park win, and we'll be talking in the future about another trip to the national tournament for the Columbia College Cougar soccer team. Thank you, Coach John Deshay, Coach John Klein. Cougar Soccer Coaches Show here on Mediacom Channel 22. Thanks for watching.